Welcome back to the channel and happy April. We finally made it. I have to say March was long like every other month, but at least it was a little bit faster than February, which was a horrible month. But welcome back. Today I'm going to talk about the reads I'm going to do in April, my TBR list for the month of April, and I definitely failed at hitting all my TBRs for March, but I am hoping I kind of pared it down. Maybe, I don't know, but I have 3 books that I plan to read for the month of April. The first one is going to be, I'm going to put it on my Kindle. I have at least one book every month that I read on my Kindle because it's so much easier to read because I can lay in bed and read. I can just pick it up when I'm like in line at the grocery store or whatever, when I'm just waiting for a few minutes and read for a little bit, and tend to find that the books that I read on my Kindle I enjoy more and read faster. But the book for my Kindle I'm planning to read is Love Theoretically by Ali Hazelwood. I have not read any of her books yet and am fairly new to the scene of Ali Hazelwood, but it turns out she is a PhD neuroscientist who writes like romance novels, which is really cool. Myself being a scientific nerdy person who also likes to write fiction, I am very excited to get into her books and check that out. I heard Love Theoretically is the best, so that's what I'm starting with. I am very worried going into April that the books that I read are not going to be as good as the book that I read in March, being For the Fans. I'm worried that the rest of the year is just going to be ruined for me because I read For the Fans and I'm never going to find a book that I like just as much as that one. But anyway, I'm hoping Love Theoretically will fill that gap for me. The next book I plan to read, this one was really random. I picked this up at Barnes & Noble. I went to Barnes & Noble. I was like looking around. I wanted to get the Picture of Dorian Gray paper book, which I did a video on that one. And then I picked up AJ Finn is the author of The Woman in the Window. And the thing about The Woman in the Window, I didn't read it. I have not read it. I might in the future, but I have not read it. I started watching the movie and about halfway through I DNF'd it. Like, I could not finish that movie. It started off really strong and I was really curious where it was going, really wanted to find out what was going to happen. And then at some point it just completely lost me and I was like, I can't finish this. I'm not interested. I don't care what's going to happen. Like, it just really lost me. And when I saw the picture of this, I saw this book on the, like a bookend, you know, and I saw this as end of story. I don't know why, but there was something about this cover that just drew me in. I didn't know who AJ Finn was. I didn't know anything. I didn't read that he had written, you know, Woman in the Window when I first picked it up. I read the jacket copy of it, and it's about a woman who goes to visit an author who was a really big mystery novelist. She like corresponds with him through like pen pal stuff, and he invites her to his house to help him write his memoir, I think. And she's a really big fan of his. He was a mystery novelist, and back in the 90s, 1999, his wife and his son went missing and they were never seen again. So there's no, like, we don't know if they're dead, we don't know what happened, assume they're dead, but they went missing. And this guy's remarried. She goes to his house to help him write his memoir, and like this last paragraph here, as Nikki attempts to weave together the strands of Sebastian's life, she becomes obsessed with discovering the truth, while Madeline begins to question what her beloved father might actually know about that long ago night. Okay, and when a corpse appears in the family's koi pond, both women are shocked to find that the past isn't gone, it's just waiting. So that really hooked me. And then I saw that he wrote The Woman in the Window, so I have, you know, a little bit of like mixed feelings about this one, but I did start reading it, and I have to tell you, I love the writing. By start reading it, I mean like I read 20 pages, but I seem to do that. Like, I get to the 20-page mark and I'm like, okay. And it's not quite 20 pages. It starts on page 7, so, you know, do the math. But I love the writing. I absolutely love the writing. Like, there are just like a few lines in here where I was just like, wow, this writing is really good. So I'm curious to see where this goes. I am excited to read this. I love reading hardcover books because you don't worry about bending the spine. Like, you don't have to worry about destroying it. You could just like open it up and read it, you know, proper. And so I'm excited to read this one. So this is on my list for the month of April. And then the last book that I'm also going to be doing a reading vlog on is The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo. I know a lot of people are reading this book. Again, I know absolutely nothing about it other than she, I guess, goes through 7 husbands. And when I picked it up in the store, I saw something about abuse in here. So I'm not really sure. I don't think this is going to feel good to read, which I really like. You know, I like to escape and feel good books, but I'm very curious to see what this one's about and what all hype is about. I don't have high hopes, honestly. Honest to God, I really don't think I'm going to actually enjoy reading this book, but I want to give it a try and see how it goes. How many pages is it? 388? Oh, let's see acknowledgements. Sorry, 385. So it's 385. So about half the word count of the books I've been reading. So it should be fairly quick to read, I'm hoping. And then the same thing with this one, The End of Story, is also fairly short compared to what I've been reading. Again, I've been reading like 600, 700 page books. So this one should be, it's 400 pages approximately. This one should be fairly quick.